Good morning, everyone. Wow, good morning again. Welcome, everyone, to this session to listen to me and three of our guests here to talk about two customers' case studies, how the Siemens and Dutch central government has been using Visio for operational excellence. My name is Stella Lane. I'm the product marketing manager for Visio. So just to give you some context why you should be here in the next hour or so with us to listen to two very different stories. That's because of the common challenges that we're facing day to day. Sometimes you feel like you're using multiple tools for one single purposes. Sometimes you feel it's a little bit challenging for you to collaborate and to do knowledge sharing with your global employees. And sometimes you feel like you're working with outdated information and standards. Let's do a round of show hands. How many people you think you're facing the similar problems in your organization? Great. So, then you start to wonder, like, where does all those knowledge go, right? And then once the knowledge management piece has been settled, how do we actually drive efficiency out of all those knowledge? And how do you drive innovation out of all those knowledge? So if you're sharing the same challenges, you're in the right room. If you're not, the door is closed, so you're trapped still. So, and then the question comes to be, why Visio? Why you should consider Visio as your knowledge management and change management tool. So let's ask another question. What are you currently using Visio for? Anyone use it for IT diagrams? Great. Process diagrams? Great. Same group of people. Okay. And what about facility management? Okay, less people. Great. So you see, like, the answer to the question can vary drastically. But it all points to the same theme, which is working visually. You want to have visual communication. And a research from MIT showcased that our human brain can actually process image in as little as 13 milliseconds. Visuals are just easier to consume. So with visual communication, you can better land your change. You can better manage your knowledge. And Visio goes beyond just drawing. In a sense, we have a data linked diagrams. You can link your data with your visual communication so that your one version of truth never expire. And with me, I have Christoph Rieder from Siemens, Shinaik from one of our MVP in Visio, and Herwin and there as well, to talk about how Visio helped their organization to create processes of 2,000 processes, regardless of the standards, IDF, BPMN, EPC, whatever standards, and 30K of schema files, regardless what are the previous designer tool they're using. All of them can be created and modified and enhanced in Visio. That's a one-stop solution. And how Visio, because of the visual communication, how Visio help us to collaborate across the company's history. This is actually my favorite slide. We have millions of customers, thousands of customers, millions of users are using Visio for knowledge management and change management. And this is my favorite slide in a sense. Customers always surprise me and inspire me every day by their way of using Visio. And we constantly receive very positive comments from users like you here. So one of the quotes I just want to share with you from one of our CABI users. The best invention since pen and paper. I use it every day to organize complex ideas constantly. There's no better tool. It saves countless hours of discussion in meetings where no one can adequately convey their idea. Put in Visio, I get it now. So with that, allow me to introduce Christoph Rieder from Siemens to tell more story about Siemens, how Siemens using it for operational excellence.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. So you hear that I speak German English. I hope you understand it good, and my English is good enough. So what we are doing, what we've done with Visio. So we are a technical company, as you maybe know. And what is mobility doing? Mobility is doing something that has to do with traffic control of trains and building trains. We are in Switzerland, we're building traffic control systems, which means software engineering on a very high level, because if a train crashes, it's much more problem than if an Oracle database or SQL database crashes, as you maybe know. So what we are currently doing as an innovation project is a be-in, be-out. What we're thinking of is that everybody can get on a train, get on a bus, just having his phone or having a credit card. And the train and the bus is recognizing when you get on which station and when you get out, and you get later on paid by which tracks you really used. It's most of like a telecom thing. Yeah, you pay what you cost it. So that's what we are doing. So just a short thing what mobility does. So what was our problem? The problem we had is that we have two things. The one thing is we have 30 years warranty on any products we deliver to the market, which means we have very old diagrams, schemes, and technical drawings which have been made maybe 30 years ago with different kind of software which is not existing anymore on the market. But we have to use it and still maintain it. So that's why we came to a decision we need a sustainable platform to replace several of these things. And this is where Mr. Chennai came in place to offer us something that we can migrate these data automatically or convert them from a whatever called format to Visio. So what we are talking about is about 30,000 files and about 40 years of history. And about what's more important in that case as well is that on these diagrams and schemes, a lot of people have drawn on it. And drawn, I mean, really, they made triangles out of 3 lines and stupid stuff like this. Yeah? So to convert this was a very tough job for this guy here. Yeah, that's why we choose Visio. So, and now I will show you how that works for a user. Which means what does a user if he got such a document and need to convert it. Therefore, I switch to my lab. Yes, okay. Now you see what the user does. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry, there's a call coming in from my colleague from Switzerland. I have to talk to him.
Christoph, you can do that.
Oh, why? It takes seconds. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. It just takes seconds. Hi, Florim. How are you? Yeah. What's your problem, Florim? Okay. You need to convert a document. Okay, I can show you how to do that.
Christoph, you're on a demo. You can't do that.
Why? It should just take seconds. Don't worry. Everything's fine. So you just go and open your Explorer. You go on drive letter I. You go on the directory CDI. You see the directory CDI? Okay, you see the CDI? Okay, and you just copy your document into that directory. Is it so far fine? Can you copy it? Yeah, I can see it. Oh, that's fine. That's good. So, Florim, yeah, that takes now several minutes. I think you just can go for a coffee, and if you're back from the coffee, it will be done. It's fine so far. So you see, it's done.
We're in a demo, Chris.
Yeah. So we go on. So don't worry. So now what I'm showing you now is, so I don't need that anymore. What I'm showing you now is this is the server in Switzerland. As you maybe see here, you can come back on stage. Everything's done. What's going on? You see maybe here on this side, you see that we are on a server in Switzerland. It's already 4:09. Yeah? So we are 7 hours in front. And what you see here is that the software itself already recognized there is a new file in a new directory. You see it here on the CPU. It just recognized it, got this document, and now starts to converting it. That takes several minutes. And that's what's going on the user side. It's no more, no less.
Are we back again at night?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're back. So this is just what's going on this side on the server. Maybe I show you later on the result. So this is now the user or the admin interface, which shows what has to be done that is so easy for the user. And I hand it over now to Sanjay.
Thank you very much. So good morning, everyone, even from my side. Interesting way of doing demos. Well, how is the conversation going on? Well, the tool itself is running on a server system monitoring permanently a directory structure. So for the users, it's very, very easy just to put somewhere in this directory structure a file. The moment the software finds a new file in this directory structure, it starts identifying what is this file. Once it has identified, and I'll show you in a second what this means, it starts the conversion process automatically and then just drops the final or the converted result in the same directory. So talking about the process itself means, first of all, the user puts a file into the directory, anywhere in the directory structure, because as Christoph has shown, this is of course a structure with many, many parts of the Siemens corporate department. When Multiconverter finds a file, the monitoring service triggers the conversion process, but before that can happen, we need to identify which kind of file is it. It can be two different flavors. One flavor is, it's one of the known file formats of the Multiconverter engine, and this is literally almost everything as a graphical format in the market. Now, this is a little bit easier because trigger it, convert it, put it back, store it in the share, and then the user sometime later can pick up. It's a little bit more complicated when the user, and this is something which happens pretty often at Siemens because, as Christoph said, this is documentation, so there is no graphical file. There is a Word document with a few graphical objects in them. Now, the converter service is also capable of identifying this is a Word document, opening the Word document, pulling out the graphical object, which is just an embedded object, converting it to Visio, and then replacing the original object by its Visio counterpart, and then again saving the Word document in or with the new object in place. After that, this process for the user is again the same. He or she picks up the file in the end. So it's a fully automated process. The only thing the user has to do is put the file in the share and pull the file or the converted result out of the share.
Okay, so, do you hear me? I'm off? No, I'm on. Okay, thanks. What the project itself? I tell you something about the project. The project itself was very hard to do because nobody wants to get away from the old software, from the old structure, and all that stuff. The good thing that came into that project was that one department head has changed, and he said, I want to get rid of everything. We moved to Visio. And he was a kind of a pilot who did it first with his department, which was very, very important because he then later on was someone who was running with that flag, moving to Visio through Siemens in Switzerland, which helped us a lot because he said, it's good, it's worked, it's fine, everything's good. So that was a very good thing. We did then a lot of, let's say, migrations for whole departments or for projects, but there are still documents around which are not have been yet converted, as you've seen before with my colleague Florian. And so we're still running on that as an operational service. It's not anymore a project. It's just something that's 24/7 available for every user, because we even have projects in Malaysia and stuff like this. So the conversion itself worked very, very good, but we couldn't make 100%. As you maybe know, in technical drawings, it's very important the thickness of a line or the style of a line, which has information in it, which sometimes it was not possible to convert it because of the different users which had worked on one drawing. That was a problem. But in average, overall, we had about only 30 to 45 minutes needed additional manual work to just adjust something on a drawing and then to go forward and make a new version, because most of our projects we are doing is replacing things and not building complete new train stations. It's just sometimes an enhancement, or we change technology or stuff like this. So in that case, it was a very good thing, and it's still ongoing. So, and now I can show you the results. And the results are already ready. So I switch over, and as you see, the conversion is over because CPU has gone down. And I will show you now the directory which we had before. It was the CDI directory. You have that document in here. Here we are. Here. So you have that document in here. And you have, as you see, it's already finished at 4:15 in Switzerland. So this is the document, how it looks like in Designer. And this is the document, how it looks like in Visio. Just have to adjust a little bit the thing, so that I really can show you that looks the same. As you see here, that's the same left corner of that document. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, not that way. So you see, it looks the same in overall image. And it depends on the size of the document. If it's embedded, it takes several minutes, maximum up to an hour per document. And it's something people really enjoy. And here you see Florim is already back from his coffee. So Florim, you hear me? So Florim, you're back from the coffee. You can go now and work on that document. So all the best from here, and see you later. Bye.
Okay, thank you. As you've seen, the conversion itself is nearly almost 100%. Now, to achieve this, as you can imagine, it's not just a process of a day or two in developing. So when converting between these two environments, it is, first of all, identifying all the objects and all the components in the original source file. One of the elements is, of course, not just a line, it's the font size, etc. So what we do here is, of course, we analyze the whole file in terms of layers, in terms of data, if applicable, depending on the file format, in terms of the whole basic structure of the file, pages, etc., etc. And then we recreate technically the whole file in a very, very, very quick way in Visio. And then afterwards, the real work starts. And the real work is not transferring the lines. The real work is just then adding, applying layers, applying formats, well, all the usual stuff. We're very proud that with these files and these file formats, and of course with the help of Christoph from Siemens, we were able to really deliver a 100% conversion. Now, 100% is not always what you want, because as Christoph said, sometimes an object looks like a rectangle but happens to be 4 lines which just happen to lie, so they look like a rectangle. So these are the 30 to 45 minutes users have to invest afterwards to make it the way they want it to be in the second step, or when they continue working with the documentation. The multi-converter itself is a server software which is running permanently and then transferring through 2 or 3 different files and application environments the data, so it, in the end, is a full-featured and fully editable Visio file. So after having said that, the question is, of course, what kind of other conversions do you need? What kind of other conversions are possible? Well, we've just shown you now one file, and that is Designer. However, Siemens was, over the last decades, very creative in using many, many different files, many, many different applications, etc. So one of the challenges we also have is finding out not just it's a Designer file, for example, but also what version of Designer, because every version had its specific flavors on what a line is and how a line behaves. So apart from just transferring the data, we also do some kind of unifying the data, standardizing the data, standardizing also the way something is drawn, and of course applying text to it. So what we also try to do is make it more Visio kind of diagram. This, of course, is a process which is pretty complex in terms of the large diagrams we got and also the amount of diagrams we had. It was about 40K diagrams and files located somewhere in the Siemens corporate network. And the tool also is, of course, always monitoring and guiding, and also sometimes making little corrections in the file to make it look the same. Since we're here migrating between platforms, one thing you need to keep in mind is 100% is not 100%. So 10-point size font in one tool may be technically the same font size in another tool, but won't look the same. So what we also do is tweak it so it looks the same, and this sometimes means you have to enlarge the font a little bit, you have to make it smaller, so you really get what feels the same result or the same output as you got it from the input. Apart from, of course, brushing and polishing and getting rid of all what's not necessary for the current diagram. So this is just quickly how the tool works. The tool itself was, well, enhanced, of course, due to some special wishes of Siemens for over 2.5 years until we got really the output Siemens needed, especially also the part which is able to pull out data or pull out graphical objects from a Word document, converting it and putting back the original or the replacing Visio object into the same place. And I can tell you, finding the place and putting it back in the same place so it has exactly the same size as the original object which was in that place sometimes was really a challenge, to say it in a very, very simple way. So yeah, but it's still, we did it, and the conversion is working pretty nicely, and the amount of time a user has to invest to, well, get the new type of diagram was reduced from days and days to literally the 30 to 45 minutes we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a short message from Florim. I hope you were enjoying our intercontinental demo.
Say hello to him, please. Thanks. So now the question is, of course, are we done here? No, of course not. Because after the diagram and the file has been transferred into the new file format, into the new Visio ecosystem, the real work starts, working on the files. As Christoph has said, they need to maintain this documentation for 40 years. Hell, that's almost as well, a little bit less than I'm old. So, I mean, hey, my whole lifetime is just a small part of documentation for Siemens needs. So this definitely, and that was one of the reasons why they chose Visio. Because even today, with Visio 2016 now in preview, you can open a Visio 1.0 file and it will still be editable and work, and you won't have any issues. You will have a very hard time finding another graphical software supplier who could even claim this for 2 versions or 2.5 versions, and Visio does it since 1991. However, again, we're not done. Now starts the real work. Now starts working with the files, and of course, also using the new features, the new functionalities, which are only possible because Visio now is, well, the head of the diagram editing. So one thing Siemens is now doing in the next steps is, of course, using data linking. Because, I mean, it's not just a line. It is aligned with a meaning. It's aligned with data. So using data connectivity is a very important part in terms of connecting some metadata, some additional data, and then maintaining the diagram not by, drawing and modifying lines, but just by modifying metadata. So pulling the data from data stores, and believe me, they have a lot of data stores, into the shapes is one of the next big steps Siemens is undertaking. And then, of course, using this connectivity, using this data in the shapes also for some more than just, well, adapting the graphical objects. The shape data can be the source of some visual hint, of some visual, well, highlighting. So with a new technology, which is also put into Visio, the data graphics, you're able to use this information and to translate it into some, well, sorry, a value is wrong, sorry, the value is too short, sorry, there is some, well, some data not fitting to each other, etc. So after connecting the diagrams to a data store, the next step is, of course, to make them more data-driven, data-connected, and also giving you a visual report on what's in the diagram for the next steps. After that, it is also, I told you, a rectangle is not always a rectangle. Sometimes it's just 4 lines lying so they look like a rectangle. Is also creating smart shapes out of it. What's a smart shape? A smart shape is an object in Visio which is or has some built-in intelligence. So based on the data stored in the object, the shape can react, the shape can behave, change its visual appearance, change its behavior, etc. So that will be then the mastery in these files to even use smart shape formula in the shapes to then make intelligent objects out of it, which will be more than just a plain drawing, just more than, well, we're drawing a line and a rectangle and a square. So having that said, I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I'm handing over again to Christoph.
Okay. So, yeah. We are so far finished, I would say, and thanks for your attention. And
thank you.
The questions are at the end of the session. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're introducing another case study from Dutch central government from Herwen de Ville.
Yes. Change glasses. Oh.
And at the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A, and then anyone asks question will enjoy a sweet chocolate from Christoph.
Doet de muis het niet, Damka? Die muis aanstaan? Nee. No mouse.
Oh, hij staat hierop. Nee, ik moet die gebruiken.
Oké. Okay. Take this one. Okay. Good morning. My name is Germin Devele. I'm working as a project manager at the Ministry of Health, Welfare and Sports. This ministry is one of the 11 ministries within the Dutch central government. In this presentation, I'll show you how different ministries are working together in establishing common portfolio management solution. This presentation is divided in 4 parts. First, I will give you a brief introduction of the Dutch government's central government. Then I will get into the challenges, followed by a live demonstration. Finally, I will give insight in how we think to use the application portfolio management solution in the future. In the foreground of this photo, you see the Dutch House of Parliament dating back to the 13th century. In the background are the new buildings of the different ministries. In total, there are 11 ministries with a total of 110,000 employees. Approximately another 120,000 employees are indirectly related to the central government. So in total, more than 200,000 employees are directly or indirectly related to the central government. Traditionally, each ministry was responsible for organizing facilities such as P&O, information management, ICT, and purchasing. This led to each ministry having its own organization, systems, protocols, and processes, resulting in more than 1,000 applications per ministry, all depending on the size and complexity of the ministry. All the application-related data is collected in multiple Word, Excel, Visio documents, each full of information. Eventually, you are left with mountains of information without any relation or connection. Because of the lack of interrelation between all collected application and process data, there's no or limited insight in, for instance, which processes are supported by which application and version control of application-related documents. This results in an application portfolio which is hard to manage and maintain. Gartner research shows that 20% cost savings can be realized by proper application portfolio management. This is also one of the goals of the Dutch central government. At the end of the last decennium, the central government started to understand that wide collaboration in IT-related services and applications would lead to professionalization as well as cost savings. This led to creating the government's I strategy and I infrastructure, consisting of a program to make central government leaner and a single ICT infrastructure throughout the central government. This strategy is resulting in a number of ICT projects, underlying the current fragmented ICT infrastructure, reducing the number of data centers from 60 to 4 or 5, establishing a single central government ICT security authority, and harmonizing the design and use of applications. All these projects together form one large overall program for downsizing the ICT within the central government and making it more efficient. It's called the Compact Central Government. To support the different ICT projects within the central government, we developed a common application portfolio management solution. In this solution, we are reusing all existing information and documents. We're also gathering information about each application, including the cost to build and maintain the application, the business value of the application, the quality of the application, and the expected lifespan. This information helps us to reach our ultimate goals, to optimize the existing application portfolio and save on total cost of ownership. The APM model consists of Microsoft Visio, Word, Excel, and Project. All information described in these products is imported in a central relational database or repository. This repository relates all the information to each other by answering the main questions. What are we using? Which process and employee does it support? And why are we using this? This enables to create a 360-degree view which can be communicated to different stakeholders in a language they understand. For communicating this information, a portal is created. As said before, the APM model consists of Microsoft Office Suite with Visio as its core. Maven Rules is a repository which relates all these Office products together to be able to get a 360-degree view on the environment. Why Visio? It's a worldwide and central government standard. This has a short learning curve. It's flexible. All modeling techniques like Archimate, IDF, BPN are supported. Because of its ease of use and flexibility, it's suitable for all stakeholders at all levels. The target group for the application portfolio solution consists of all stakeholders, the chief information officers, the ICT Security Authority, application managers and process designers, as well as the employees. This leads to a target group of current 24,000 Visio users and a potential Visio use of more than 200,000. In the demo, I will first show you the end-user portal. We want to answer the following questions. Which applications are suitable for phasing out? What will be the impact of phasing out these applications? Is a collaboration between ministries possible? After this, I will show you how we have created this portal. Switching. 7. Okay. Let me show what the solution actually looks like. For the demo, I would like to start with the end result, the Application Portfolio Management Portal. The portal is used by several stakeholders to get information about the current application portfolio, but also the related business processes, all to be able to make a well-founded decision about application landscape. This portal is for all ministries. We will mainly focus on the views. These contain the information which we need to answer the questions we have asked ourselves. Depending on your role in the organization, you get a different view. This is the Chief Information Officer view. For answering question 1, which applications are suitable for phasing out, we are using the first view. When you go into this view, you will get a report which shows our application portfolio lifecycle information. To the left, you see all the applications. To the right, you see the context where you in the model. So we are looking at the user applications related to processes. Let's go to the Parliament info system. To the right, you see the detailed data of this application and why it should be phased out. It's running on old platforms and it's not compliant with the Archive Act. So those are two reasons why it should be phased out. Here on the left you see all the applications available and what their life cycle status is. Let's go back to the portal homepage. For answering question 2, what will be the impact of phasing out this application, we're going into the second view. Here you can see the layered Visio view with 3 different layers: the business layer, the application layer, and the technology layer. And here you see in the model that we here have the process related to the business layer, the applications to the application layer, and the technical components in the technical layer. We can zoom in or drill down into the Parliament information system. And here we see the related information system components with all the data at the right side. If we go back to the Parliament information system, we can also see which processes are related to the Parliament info system. We can zoom in to the processes and the actors involved. And you have, at this side, all the information about the process. So we're back at the main picture of the second question. So now we know what the impact is of phasing out the application. We saw the processes, we saw detailed information of other information systems, and we can go to the third question. Is there a collaboration between ministries possible? For that, we use the third view. Here you see an overview of the business processes within a ministry. It's also a Visio chart where you can drill down. We can go to political management and drill down. What we see here are all the information system of all the ministries that are related to this process. What you can see here, that the Ministry of Social Affairs and Employment also has a generic solution for the Parliament information system. And as you can see, it's on a more modern platform, and it's compliant with the Archive Act. So what we can do now is contact Mr. Winston Smith and see if the application could fit for our ministry. Now we have answered all the three questions. Let's go to the real application and repository. Here you see the repository with all the ministries involved. Let's go to the Parliament information system. Here you see the three layers you saw before. And here's the Parliament information system with all the data related to it. In total, we have more than 200 data elements involved with one application. And what we can do here, we can chase all these data. For instance, the application status. We can go to phase out or phased out. There are also interfaces involved with this Parliament information system. And if we go to the related chart, Visio chart, you see Visio and all the related systems. And if you go to the related systems, we can also change the application status. And all is linked to the repository. So now we've changed the status from in use to phase out, and we can generate a new portal. We can make a SharePoint portal. It will take 5 to 10 minutes for each ministry to create a new portal. And normally the portal will be generated every night using batch processes. This will end the demo, and I go back to the presentation. It's number. In summary, by using worldwide standards office tools like Visio in relation with the central repository, we are able to create a framework that gives us insight in the processes and related applications within the different ministries of the Dutch central government. This enables us to get from a fragmented organization of our application portfolio to a coherent organization of the application portfolio. For the next steps, we will continue to enroll the application portfolio management solution and model, since it supports the current and the future projects, like creating the central government clouds, creating, establishing central shared service centers, and reducing the number of data centers. To be able to make these projects a success, we need insight in the current environment. The application portfolio management model based on Visio and Maven rules is realizing that goal. Thank you.
So with that, I'd like to invite Christoph Rieders on the stage as well, Sheena as well. And then anyone has questions, please use the microphone. And then again, to summarize our 2 case studies, from Siemens Mobility, we have the story around converting all the different drawings into Visio and how to enhance your drawings with data connectivity and features like that. And for the central government, we talk about how you rationalize your application portfolio. Any questions, please stand behind the microphone. We are here to answer your questions. And feel free also to drop by our booth for any product-related questions that we can help you answer as well. Anyone have questions? We have T-shirts. If you don't like T-shirts, we have chocolate.
Hi, thank you. Working? I noticed a bunch of other application being used, like I think there was Corel Designer in there, and the other Marvin, I think it is, from a different. So, like, how many products are you using? Are you custom building an application? Are you using stuff outside of just Visio to pull this all together?
For the government, okay. We are using Word, Excel, and Visio for making the pictures, and all the data is in the repository. So the repository is about 17, 80 groups of data with 200 plus fields connected to that. And then we connect all the documents we have to that model. So you can make all cross-references using a graphic interface and then drill down to your data or drill down to your documents. And it's all related via the repository.
So that repository, basically, your document management system and all of that stuff.
Yes, it's CMDB.
It's integrated as part of the Visio solution.
It's document management. It is configuration management. It's all in the different layers. Processes. We also have modeled all the processes in the business layer, and in the application layer we do all the APM, all the application modeling, and in the technical layer we do all the configuration management. So it's all connected in one model, in one repository, and all the documents, Excel documents for cost, Word documents in the document management system, and configuration charts are all connected in one repository. So you can. This is the Maven application, yes. And we're using Visio as one of the tools. It's integrated. It's integrated in the Maven tool. So you're fully integrated. The data is connected. Every object in Visio has its data set.
I'm going to stand here if nobody comes up behind me because I'm curious about that document management system, and why not stay with a native Microsoft document management system and selecting that particular product.
We can also relate to that. We have cross-linking or deep linking to other systems also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
If you want to maintain your documents in another system or another tool, we can cross-link that or deep link it.
Okay, thank you.
Maintain it in another tool and deep link it.
Thank you. Feel free to the chocolate and T-shirt, whatever. You're going to come up? Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
We've had a sidebar conversation with the chocolate.
Yeah, feel free to go. Any other questions? All right. I think we can give back 20 minutes. If there are no questions, or we are going to stay here for another 20 minutes just in case any private conversation will happen. And I will also introduce my partner over there from Maven, who will help us to build the repository and connecting all the systems together. All right. Thank you so much. And feel free to evaluate the session as well. And then we'll be at the booth for any further questions.